Welcome to this fourth in the video series on zero-based budgeting and cash flow management using the Managing My Money or MMM Excel tool. This video assumes that you've seen the core videos already that review overview of zero-based budgeting and of this application. And now we're going to talk about the optional feature of importing bank data into the tool with Tiller Money.
We'll start with the Tiller Money import demo, followed by a demo of transaction tools used to support automated imported data that were not discussed in the previous video on transaction tools, because these are specific to data that's been imported automatically. Finally, we'll go over how to set up, if you've never used Tiller Money before, how you can set up the workspace to be able to enable Tiller Money. So those who have experience with Tiller Money or who already have it working on other worksheets or already signed up for the service can skip the last section.
You'll see that on the first set of videos, we talked about creating your zero-based budget. And then on the last video, we talked about the track sheet and how to gather data and manually enter data into your sheet. We're going to go a step further this time and talk about how to import the data from your bank and credit card accounts into the track sheet. So what I've done is I went to the data ribbon. I selected the Tiller Money option to open the portal. I clicked on the update button within the Tiller Money panel, and then I closed that panel. So what you'll see after doing that is a confirm operation window that will show up like this. In this case, I'm importing, it looks like a month of data. Now, it's okay if you say no here. You won't lose the data. What happens is if you say no, then you'll be reminded next time that you click on the import button, it'll pop up a reminder saying you have pending Tiller data import. Do you want to process it? And if you say yes, it'll then import it for you here. If you say no at that point, it'll take you into the setup screen, right? And anytime thereafter, until you process it, it'll prompt you to do that. But in this case, we'll say yes, and we'll watch it do the import. So you can see it's adding items in. So we're going to process about 100 items. You'll see them import as they go. Once it goes off the screen, it'll do all the rest pretty quickly because it won't update the screen. So I wanted to just have a few observations here. First one is that the date column and the vendor column, the amount column, and the description column all come from the Tiller Money data feed. The category column was auto-categorized. If you watched the previous video on tracking tools, we discussed the auto-categorization using the affinity panel. So in the previous training, I had gone through and categorized some items. Therefore, I built up a database and it was able to find the matches on this import and auto-categorize them. What that means is the first time that you do your import, if you've been doing manual data imports and categorizations for, let's say, a month or 6 weeks, before you start doing automatic ones, you'll see it come in auto-categorized. But if you start off immediately with automatic data import, initially it's going to come in blank. Right, and that's okay. You just need to go in and manually go through and do all of your manual categorizations, and then after about categorizing about 6 weeks of maybe even up to 2 months, to basically get most of the locations, vendors where you spend your money. From then on, all of the future imports will auto-categorize for you. You will need to check those because they will not, they'll only give you the default. Again, to learn about that, go to the previous video on transaction tools. But one thing I'll give you an example is we talked about in the previous one with an import from Amazon, right? Because Amazon, I think I have something in here from Amazon. So basically in Amazon, we configured it to not auto-categorize. Instead, we said we wanted to give suggestions. So after you've done your manual import, you'll need to find all the Amazon ones because of the way we configured it. and pick your suggestion, right? For other ones, you can just it'll auto categorize for you. Okay, another observation. You'll see that on the automatic import, it'll take all of the positive entries that it sees and either classify them as credits or as income. Or transfer. So basically, if it sees a positive value that is below a certain threshold, it's going to mark it as a credit for you. So unless it sees the word salary or income in the title of the transaction, it's going to classify them as credits. Anything above a certain threshold, a very large positive deposit into your account is going to be, that's not a transfer, will be put as an income. So what that means is you'll just need to go and check all the ones that say credit or income to make sure they're classified correctly. The other thing is transfers. So transfer is one of the flags that we did not talk about in the video on transaction tools because it's not relevant to manual data entry. We wanted to only talk about it here during the automatic data import. So if a transaction comes in positive or negative and it identifies it through the vendor or through the title as a potential transfer, it will categorize it as a transfer. In this case, this is, it's not an income, it's not an expense, it's just movement of data between two of your accounts. So in that case, you'll typically have, a negative paired with a positive. It's transferring out of one and into another, and it'll then do that transfer for you. So you should check all of those to make sure that it caught those and classified them correctly. So that's another thing is it will look into the description and the title to see if there's a check number embedded in it. If there is, it'll pull out, it can't auto-categorize checks, but it will pull out the check number and put it in the check number column. And then all of the ones, when you're done importing, you can go down all the checks and fill in, update the vendor with the correct vendor, and then of course update the category if you need to. If your vendor that you put in is already in the Affinity database, it'll auto categorize for you as soon as you type in the vendor name. In this last section, we will go ahead and cover two items that are related to import of data that were not covered earlier in this video. The first one is the show account and source setting on the top. And the second is the reconcile flag. Okay, so the show account and source, when you by default it's set to no. When you set this to yes, it will unhide two additional columns at the end here, the account column and the source column. When you're doing manual data entry, when you complete a transaction behind the scenes, it will automatically tag this as a manual entry. When you import any items from either Quicken or Tiller Money, you'll see that it will also flag it as either a Tiller Money or a Quicken as the data source. And for manual entries, the account field will be blank. For data imported, the account field will be filled in to reflect the account from which this particular transaction occurred. So the reconcile. So when you enter a check number, at the time you enter it, just select the reconcile flag, and that puts you on notice and helps you after the import to be able to match those up with items that clear your bank in the future. So for this example, I've entered checks from January and February that have not yet hit my bank account, and I'm about to do an import for data in March that will show all of these hitting my bank account, and we'll go through reconciliation of a couple of them to show the process. So let me go ahead and click on the import. Yes, I want to process it. It says that there's Tiller Money data feed available for the whole month of March, so I'll say yes, and we'll see that import happen. So as it goes through, you'll see that it filled in the source with the tiller money, and it's filling in the account with the account number, and you'll see that it's also putting the check numbers in for checks that have cleared. Okay, so import is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and see if any of these reconciliations can be matched. So if I click on this first one, what you'll see is on the right hand side, you'll see that it found a potential match. So basically this was on January 12 where I manually entered this. On March 2nd, there was a tiller import for the same amount, $97.77, and the information that came with that import says that it's check number 8700. So indeed that one is a match. So if I look at March 2nd, you'll see here's the check number on column 17, on row 17. And we're going to go ahead and match that. So I'll just click it. And it will ask, are you sure you want to clear the reconciliation with the selected match? I'll say yes. Now you'll see two things happen. One, the reconciled entry is cleared, and there's a note saying that it was cleared with a transaction on March 2nd with that, and it pulls in the comment for that transaction. Then on the March, and it shows cleared. On the March 2nd entry, it shows as matched. And the amount is zeroed out because that way I'm not double hit. And the category is set for me, and a comment saying that it's matched to the entry on January 12 for $97.77 for Kroger. So now my that one has cleared. Now some of these I'll go through here. So this one also has a, now this is a good one because this one has two potential matches. There's the way this reconciliation match check works is it will look for any transaction in the future after the manual entry happened that has the same amount, right? In this case, exactly. So this one is $40. It found two entries after January 15th for $40 and says, hey, either of these could be a potential match. One was imported as Venmo and one was imported as check 8532. Well, it's clear that the second one is the match. The other thing to note is that the number 40, if I click, for example, this is the one that we want to match. Now, you'll look just before that, there's the numbers 41 and 45. Those numbers are to help you identify the index. So if I look at 41 and I come down to row 41, that's where the 8532 match is, right? Just to help you locate it on your sheet. The Venmo one is off the screen because it's row 45. But even though it's off the screen, you see the little red dot. If I hover over that amount, I'm going to hit, are you sure you want to clear the reconciliation? I'm going to say cancel. No, I'm not going to clear it. I'm going to show you, if I hover over the red dot, it gives me some additional information about that to help me decide if I want to match it. So in this case, I'm going to click this one. I'm going to say, yes, I want to match it. And again, you'll see on the bottom it's matched, it's cleared out, it's given the category. And on the top, the reconciled one is cleared. And the comment on what it's cleared with. So that's the way that you can, now not all of these have to be cleared. You might click on one and there might not be any match found. In my case, I believe I have matches for everything, but let me give an example. I'm going to come down to from 8534, this one here. Again, I'll set that to $66, and that was 8534. So now if I click on this one, there's no nothing pops up because it didn't find any transactions imported for $53.33 in the future. There might be some in the past, but there might be some from December, November. We don't care about those for reconciliation. We want something that happened after January 27th, and there was nothing found. That was 53.33, so 85.34. I'll put that back to 53.33, and then I'll click it here, and you'll see that now it found the match. And I can click it and I can say yes, reconcile. And that's how reconciliation works. So we've gone over everything related to data import, and we'll go back to close out to this video.
Set up your Tiller Money import by clicking the import button. So we'll go through the OneTime Setup. So the first thing you need to do is confirm that your import source is set to Tiller Money feed. There's 3 options, and we'll go over the other ones later, but for now we want to focus on Tiller Money. So click on Tiller Money feed. Now let's talk about OneTime Setup. So in order to access the Tiller Money, you'll need to install first the Tiller Money Excel add-in. So I have a link here to the Microsoft App Source, which will get you to the point where you can download and install the add-in. However, I highly recommend that if that does not work or you have any issues, go directly to the Tiller Money website and look up instructions from them. They'll have a link for a free 30-day trial, and you can do it that way. It will require you to have a Microsoft account to access the store from Microsoft, and you'll need a Google account to sign up for the Tiller service. Even if it's a 30-day free trial, you still need the Google account. So once you've installed the Excel add-in, you'll know you're successful when you open Excel, any worksheet, not just this Managing My Money application, but any Excel worksheet. You click on Data, and you'll see at the far right the Open Tiller icon with Tiller Money on the bottom. So that's the Excel add-in. So after that is done, your OneTime Excel setup is complete, and you need to go to the one. At that point, you can open up the Managing My Money Excel sheet, and you'll need to open Tiller Money by clicking Data and then clicking the Open Tiller Money here. When that happens, you'll see that you get a panel called Tiller Money that'll open up on the far right side of the screen. Once you've signed in, so let's say you've already signed up, you sign in, then you need to do 2 one-time actions. The first is you need to link this worksheet to Tiller Money. So basically, Tiller Money gives you the option to link up to 5. I believe it's 5. It's a number of worksheets. I think it's 5. 5 worksheets where it will download bank data and credit card data directly into any of those worksheets. You'll have an option that says link worksheet. You click that link worksheet button, and it will basically associate this worksheet to your account as one of the 5 worksheets. That is pretty simple to do. Once that's done, you'll need to add bank and credit card accounts. Click the a button called Tiller Console on there, and that's a link that will take you to the Tiller website. And from that website, it'll show your account, and you'll have a section where you can add bank and credit cards to your Tiller account. It's important that you do that from their website, because what happens is a lot of banks require 2-factor authentication periodically, like maybe once every couple of months or something, definitely the first time you sign up. So what you do is you put your bank information in there, and then your bank might then say, hey, I'm going to send you a text with a special code that you have to enter in to confirm that this is really you, right? So that 2-factor authentication is handled on the Tiller website, where you can add up all your bank and credit card accounts. Next thing to do is to link those accounts to this worksheet. So now when you come back here and you're signed in, you'll see those accounts that you just added as options. They're not automatically linked to this worksheet, but you have checkboxes so you can pick the ones that you want, of the accounts that you added. Which ones do you want to pull money into this worksheet? So you click all the ones that you're interested in. Typically, these will be, for this purpose, this will be strictly bank accounts and credit card accounts, not investment accounts, because we're not really tracking investments. But once that's done, you're completely set up. So all that's left to do now is to actually import your data for the first time. Now, my recommendation would be this, that when you do this, before you try importing data into here, all right, when you sign up for the Tiller account, it's going to give you 2 options. One is Google Sheets and one is Excel. So you'll need to pick the Excel template option, and it'll download an Excel template for you locally to your computer, and you can open that up. And it comes with a pre-filled set of screens and things where they can import data and display your data for you. So you will want to open up that template, that Excel template that comes with the Tiller account, and make and do these same steps to link it, to link your accounts to it, and then confirm that you can import data into that sheet. If you can't import data into that sheet, the Tiller Money's basic template, you'll need to contact Tiller Money directly to their helpline, and they're very responsive. Contact their helpline and they will get you sorted and help you work through what's going on. Once you have that working there, and I'm assuming the first time it should work, but once you get that working there, then you can come here and follow the same steps, right? It'll all be set up for you. Just link it. All your banks will already show up. You just have to link them to this workbook, and then you're all set to do your first import into this in this application. After the first time setup, this is just a reminder of what to do. When you're going to import data, you never have to actually click the import button. All you really need to do is click data, open Tiller Money, go down to the button that says update. You click the update button, then you close this, and then you'll get a pop-up right here on the tracking screen that'll say, do you want to sync your Tiller data? You say yes, and all the data will come in. If you've been following my video series and you found value in what this tool can do for you, then I'd like to share with you the prerequisites for using the MMM Managing My Money tool in Excel. First of all, as noted, it is free to download and to use, but you need to email mmm.expenseplanning@gmail.com to obtain an activation code and download instructions. Second, this runs on a local version of Microsoft Excel, so it's not running on cloud. Everything will be local on your machine, but it requires that you have Office 365 version running locally on your machine. It only uses United States regional date and currency formats. And as mentioned before, although this is a free tool that I'm making available, there is, if you desire to have data imported from your bank or credit card companies, then that requires an optional paid subscription to an unaffiliated service, one of two, right, to get that data into Excel, into this tool in a simple manner. The preferred way, in my mind, is Tiller Money, as it's a one-step direct bank to Excel import. Another option is Quicken. So if you have Quicken, they provide a mechanism for importing data from your bank into Quicken, and then this tool provides a mechanism to pull that data out of Quicken and into the MMM transaction screen. I hope you found value in this video, and thank you for watching.